Hello everyone, welcome back to another hufo. It's been a bit since I've done one of these, but this is the series where I give you my honest, unfiltered opinions on a variety of subjects that you ask me on Instagram. Before we get into it though, a quick word from the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community that offers membership to something with real practical value. There are countless classes ranging across the entire spectrum from how to sell t-shirts online to baking French macaroons. I'll try to make my way through a Skillshare class every week as a way to do something productive and break up my time a bit. The other day, Chef Nicoletta Grippo taught me how to cook the perfect pasta al pomodoro. And through that class, I learned that I was cooking noodles like a total beginner, not using nearly enough salt in the water and putting olive oil in it. So you want your pasta sauce to kind of stick to your noodle, and if you put olive oil in the water, it doesn't do that as well. Happy to say I have rectified my mistakes. Skillshare is incredibly affordable. An annual membership costs less than $10 a month, giving you unlimited access to their entire library. If you're looking to explore some new skills, click the link in the description. The first 1,000 of you to do so will get 2 free months of premium membership. Anyways, let's get to it. First we have Nate Lee Natalie, who asks, my hufo on people making music careers out of audio samples of instruments, not playing them. At one point, I would have approached what I listened to with a sense of elitism. If a musician didn't reach certain criteria, then it wasn't good enough for me. But I came to realize that life is too short for that. If you enjoy something, why try to find ways to make yourself not enjoy it? Good music is good music. However you get there doesn't really matter to me. I've got the same amount of respect for the guy who has mastered the craft of producing a track through sampling as I do the guitar player who's playing I love. Gaka Danama Vegas asks, my hufo on online music college. So I assume you're talking about getting a bachelor's degree or diploma by taking online classes through somewhere like Berkeley. There is a lot of great information that you can consume online, but the biggest things that I got out of music school were the type of things that wouldn't transfer over. When I was at music school, that was the point in my life that I was playing the most with other musicians. Every day, I was jamming, playing with people in classes, playing in ensembles, playing in bands. That is among the most important parts of development, and that can't be replicated over the internet. Another one of the most important things you can get from going to school in person is developing real relationships. For many, this network will define their career, and you're not going to get the same sense of that online. Of course, there are some classes that would translate well: theory, ear training, history, that kind of stuff. If an online degree is drastically lower in price and you already have a large network of musicians you often play with, then it could be something worth considering. Next up, Caleb Nallen asks about genres that I find interesting but never play. The one that stands out is gypsy jazz. I love the way it sounds. I've dabbled in it a bit, but at some point in my life, maybe retirement, I'd like to go deep into it. Next up, Peter Hernandez asks my hufo on percussive guitar. I feel like I've seen so much of it since Andy McKee came along and blew everyone away that the sense of awe has kind of worn off. I admire the craft. It's incredibly impressive, but it's very far from the type of thing that I would listen to for any extended amount of time. Next up, do I like musical theater? I do not. It is not for me at all. Any shows or songs in particular? Okay, so the exception to what I just said would be the Book of Mormon. Absolutely love that one. I would happily watch it over and over. Next up, we have Will Shepner, who asks, how can musicians share political opinions well? What are the best methods? Music and politics likely goes back to the prehistoric roots of the art form when some proto-human monkey thing wrote a song about how much he didn't like the leader of his clan. The two will always be intertwined as long as people are singing about their experiences. How do you share a political opinion? Well, I think there's a lot of nuance to that, and it's going to change person to person. There's a time when it's going to make sense to subtly introduce elements of politics into your art to influence change that way. There will be other times where it's important to just say, here's where I stand. Through your art, you have the ability to make someone see something through an alternative lens. In this case, the better your music is, the easier it'll be to win people over. Other times, you may want to just straight up make a statement. What I've found to be impactful on me when I've read things are not people who just regurgitate some talking point that they've heard someone else say, but speak in a way that shows actual insight. If you care about it, talk about it, and remember it's a lot easier to stand behind something if you've really examined your belief system. When you're developing your opinions, I think that it's equally as important to try to prove yourself wrong as it is to reaffirm your beliefs. And without going too far off topic, I will say, if wearing a mask to protect yourself and others and stating what should be an inherent truth, Black Lives Matter, if those things are political statements, then the political environment is deeply, deeply flawed. On to something lighter. Grey Germ asks my hufo on toxic people in the YouTube music creation community. I've personally never seen that. I've been to a number of events that have brought people in this community together and have had overwhelmingly great times meeting them all. If there does happen to be a lot of toxicity around, it has zero impact on me and I won't spend my time getting invested. There are a lot better places to direct my energy than ripping on fellow guitarists. I'm really not sure what you're referring to, but assuming that it's not human/animal rights violations or somebody wreaking havoc on the environment, I can't honestly be bothered. Greg Heffley's BF asks my hufo on entering fatherhood. My son is sleeping right over there like a beautiful little angel, and I'm just praying that that continues to be the case and he doesn't start crying until I've finished shooting this video. Becoming a dad has brought me a sense of joy and fulfillment unlike anything else that I could ever imagine. I truly love it. It certainly isn't easy, but Samurai Jenny and myself thought that we were as ready as we would ever be to take on these challenges. We're very fortunate to have the support system we do, which has made these first 8 weeks less difficult than they could have been. I think that becoming a parent is the best decision that we ever made, though I could certainly see how it wouldn't be for everyone. Captain Solomidcheeks says, should people still try to pursue a music career in rock or should they switch to pop? Here's the thing, the entire music industry, every facet of it, every genre has way more supply than it does demand. If you want to be, say, a session guitar player, then you're going to need to be able to do both rock and pop undeniably well. If you're more of an artist, you want to think about what you bring to the table that is entirely unique to you. There are no guarantees in this career. In fact, the odds are greatly stacked against you. But if you do what you love and create music that you believe in, regardless of it being rock or pop or whatever, you'll give yourself a better chance and you'll be more likely to look back on your journey positively. And lastly, we got to do it because a lot of people have asked, how do I think that the pandemic will affect future music? I don't think the big arena shows in the upper echelon of the business will be all that affected in the long run. At some point, we'll go back to seeing live performances and the masses will still pay to see their favorite artists. It's the smaller operations that I think could see the biggest hit. There's a lot of venues that once offered live performances that will probably disappear, and I'm not sure anything will come back to replace them. From personal experience, I know that the lower tier, or whatever you want to call it in the music industry, is just staying afloat at the best of times. I think there will be a lot of musicians that hang it up, and a lot of venues that close without major intervention. The flip side of this might be that musicians living in music hubs with higher prices of living, like LA and New York, might not be able to afford it there anymore and move back to their home cities, and because of this, music might start popping up in these smaller, more affordable markets. The thing that I like to remember is that people are adaptable. The music industry was flipped on its head when the internet came around. Some musicians figured it out and thrived. Other musicians complained about it and disappeared. There will be some artists who show true entrepreneurship and flourish in the coming years, doing things that most of us would never have thought of. And there will also be others who can't move on from the past who fall off the radar. I mean, look at Mark Rubier, for example. The guy built a fan base improvising loops on social media, and now he's going on tour playing drive-ins. My advice to musicians faced with taking on a post-pandemic industry is ask yourself this: what would Mark Rubier do? Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. If you want to get involved in a future hufo, make sure you follow me over on Instagram and pay attention to my stories. Remember to check out the sponsor of today's video. The first 1,000 of you to click the link in the description will get a 2-month free trial of premium membership over at Skillshare. They really do offer a great product, and I can't recommend them enough. Thank you all for watching. If you want to get caught up in the hufo series, you can hit that link up there. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for a wide range of musical content. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments. Leave me a like. Until next time, I'm Samurai Guitarist. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you soon.